Okay, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to our guest of honour interview. I'd like you to welcome Nick Harkaway. So for the next hour, I'm going to try and get Nick to talk as much as possible and me to say as little as possible. Not hard. And there'll be opportunities for questions, and hopefully he'll lead from his book whenever we get towards the end. So without further ado, Nick, welcome to Pecan.
Thank you.
Will you hold up the getaway words?
There we go. This is the chunky edition.
The chunky edition?
the hernia edition, as it is sometimes known. Yeah, there we go.
And copies available in the data room?
The small edition in the other room. The one you can actually carry.
What's the difference between the two? The bonus features?
There are no bonus features. This one literally is just useful for weightlifting. the one has a snazzy black cover in the other room. There is no difference in the text.
Okay. So Nick,
director's commentary.
This is the director's commentary. We're doing that now. The camera's over there. Here we go.
This will be addendum to all their editions. So Nick, can you just tell us about how you came to the Runaway Word?
Yeah, I wanted to write something big and loud and fun. I was working as a scriptwriter in the UK film industry for 9 years, and it has its ups and downs. The story that they tell you, the line that they give you when you come into the industry, a lot of you probably know this already, is that in Hollywood they will give you money and take your soul. Whereas in the United Kingdom and in Europe generally, there's a more enlightened approach, and although the money isn't as good, you keep your artistic integrity. You see where I'm going with this? My experience was that you didn't get paid and you didn't get to keep your artistic integrity. And so I can see why a number of English writers have gone to Hollywood on the basis that there's something to be said for being paid if you're going to be destroyed. Yes, exactly. And I couldn't cope with it anymore. I went to a meeting and I pitched a longish pitch, quite detailed, about a small local thriller about my part of London that I wanted to do, and it was all kind of set in the streets that I knew, it was very kind of colourful, and there was great kind of excitement. Yes, we're going to do this. It's fantastic. It's exactly that. It's just one thing. We're not looking to make any London-based stories this year. Actually, we were just wondering, we love the local aspect of this. Do you think you could create the same sort of ambience on the moon? And actually, since I was horrified at the time, I was just completely. But actually, as I think about it, yeah, of course I could have done that. And why not? Absolutely moon-based, whatever, on the moon, kind of a bit boho, a bit whatever. It's easy. But I was just horrified because it was so. My whole life was those commercials for Orange mobile phones. I got all the great comments. So I just couldn't deal with that anymore. And so I decided, right, and I've been writing small, that's the other thing. Film scripts obviously very closely kind of watched number of pages. Basically 1 page is 1 minute, so you've got somewhere between 80 pages and 120 pages, or if you're James Cameron in for a budget of $700 million, you can go further than that, but not really. And I was always writing with an eye to budget because I was working in the UK, so I was always saying, okay, I can only have, I want 500 elephants, but I probably can get away with a cat. And actually, suddenly I was just I just couldn't cope with that anymore, in combination with the could you set it on the moon thing, which was distressing. And so I was like, okay, right, fine. My novel, my rules, big, loud, unlikely, tangential, deranged, and as many bloody elephants as I want.
Noted our cats.
Not exactly. And so that was where I went. And so you end up with this mad, enormous book. And that was how I came about. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, there are no elephants, actually. The second book, as I may have mentioned, does have an elephant. More than one, actually.
Tell us
So it's a pachyderm.
This is on the moon. No, there are no moons. No, fair point.
So apart from the elephant, what can you tell us about the next book?
So the next book,
Which you finished.
which I finished on Thursday. Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that Claire has now reached I think 1/3 of the way in, and is still not throwing it across the room in horror. So it seems to be going quite well. What can I tell you? Apart from the elephant, it is it's a gangster story with a slightly steampunk feel to the places. It's generational. There are no ninjas, which is always... Yeah, I know. But I'm hoping that the substitute villainy will be sufficient to make up the lack of ninjas. I foolishly went on the record when this book came out, saying that quite a lot of modern fiction probably would do better if it had ninjas in it. I am in so much trouble. Every time I sit down basically in a gathering like this, people ask me the fatal question, whose book have you read that ought to have ninjas in it? And you're just like, yeah, because what I really want to do is piss off a bunch of UK writers. Exactly what I mean. But has to be Martin Amis. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, I'm not sure whether I think maybe his books are sufficiently, they've got enough going on in them. What I really had in mind, I'll be honest actually, what I really had in mind, when I was at school, we had a set text for my GCSE English, which was called Modern Short Stories in English. Did anybody else get that?
Yeah.
It is it's depressing as you like. It's one of those books, this is really odd about English curricula. Curricula. Not classically educated. Anyway, English courses. People seem to think that if you take a bunch of people who are between the ages of 14 and 17 and you want to teach them English, what you really want to give them to look at is stories about people who are between the ages of 14 and 17 being unhappy. That will make them, they will be riveted and enthralled by that. I could go on about this. I was reading Snow Crash. What did I didn't want to be kind of sitting there reading about, what was the Sylvia Plath story? Superman and Paula Brown's New Snowsuit, which is about going to a birthday party, discovering that everyone hates you, going to the movies and seeing a horrible thing at the movies, which is a newsreel, and throwing up the birthday cake. Yeah, I know, exactly. Snow Crash, throwing up the birthday cake. I give you one guess. Yeah, so I just thought, actually, honestly, modern short stories in English, rewritten with ninjas. Yes!